The router sparked like a dying firework in my hands, its blue light flickering out just as Jake's voice boomed from the garage shadows. "Alex, you gotta see this. It's not the tech. It's me breaking down." I dropped to my knees on the sweat-stained mat, heart slamming harder than any deadlift, because in that split-second stare, I realized his training session wasn't about reps or sets. It was about ripping open the walls we'd both built around our secrets. And as the Wi-Fi died for good, so did the last excuse keeping us from colliding head-on into the mess of who we really were. I never thought fixing a neighbor's internet would unravel my entire life, but that's small-town suburbia for you, where the fences are low, the lawns are manicured, and the hidden heartaches bloom like weeds in the cracks. My name's Alex Rivera, 28, and I'd moved to the sleepy corner of Sacramento, California, 2 years ago chasing a fresh start after a brutal breakup in San Francisco. The kind of split that leaves you questioning if love's just a glitch in the system you can reboot. I'm a freelance IT consultant, the guy folks call when their Netflix buffers or their smart fridge starts reciting recipes in binary. It's steady work, pays the bills on my one-bedroom rental, and keeps me out of trouble. Mostly. Jake Harlan lived next door, the epitome of that rugged American dream wrapped in flannel and faded jeans. 32, broad-shouldered with a jawline that could cut glass, and eyes like smoked whiskey. Deep brown, always holding a laugh or a storm you couldn't quite read. He ran a small personal training gym out of his converted garage, the kind of no-frills spot where blue-collar guys like truck drivers and construction workers came to sweat out their 9-to-5s. I'd see him out there at dawn, blasting classic rock from a Bluetooth speaker, spotting clients on the bench press while the California sun painted everything in that golden haze. We nodded hellos over the shared fence, exchanged the occasional beer on lazy Sundays, but it was surface stuff, neighborly, safe, until that Tuesday in late spring, when the air hummed with jasmine and the promise of summer. I was elbow-deep in my own router. Damn thing had been spotty all week. When Jake appeared at my back door, toolbox in one hand, a sheepish grin cracking his usual stoic facade. "Hey man, you got a sec? My Wi-Fi's crapping out in the gym setup. Smart mirrors keep freezing mid-workout vid, and my clients are griping." Figured the tech wizard next door might save my ass. I wiped grease on my jeans, chuckling. "Smart mirrors? Fancy. Yeah, swing by in 10. I'll grab my kit." It was harmless, right? Just two dudes bonding over bandwidth. But as I packed my multimeter and cables, a flicker of something stirred in my gut. Jake had this way of looking at you, like he was measuring not just your reps but your resolve. I'd caught myself lingering on those looks before, filing them away under harmless crush in the back of my mind. After all, Jake was straight as the arrow on a Bowflex ad. Ex-Marine, dated a string of cheerleader types back in high school if the neighborhood gossip held water, and now single after a messy divorce from his college sweetheart. Or so the story went. His garage gym smelled like rubber mats, iron, and that faint, clean sweat of determination. Pull-up bars dangled from the rafters, free weights stacked like sentinels. And yeah, there was the culprit. A sleek wall-mounted mirror streaming workout demos, glitching into pixelated oblivion. Jake hovered close. Too close, maybe, his arm brushing mine as he pointed. It's like clockwork. Starts fine, then bam. Clients think I'm half-assing the programming. I knelt by the router tucked behind a squat rack, popping the panel. Probably interference from the weights or the Bluetooth bleed. Easy fix. Swap the channel, beef up the signal. My voice stayed steady, professional, but his proximity was a distraction. The heat rolling off him, the way his tank top clung to the ridges of his abs like it was painted on. "Focus, Alex. You're here for the gig, not the guy." As I worked, he paced, venting about the grind. "Running this place solo's killing me. Divorce ate my savings, and now I'm scraping by on PT fees. But it's mine, you know? After the core, I needed something real. Something I could build." There was a raw edge to his words, like he was testing the waters, sharing more than small talk. I nodded, soldering a loose wire, feeling the weight of it. I'd been there post-breakup, rebuilding from ashes. My ex, Tyler, had been the flashy type. Tech bro in the city, all apps and ambition until he bailed for a better fit in Seattle. Left me with trust issues and a therapy bill. Got it, I said finally, flipping the router back on. The mirror hummed to life, crisp and clear. Jake clapped my shoulder, firm, lingering a beat too long. You're a lifesaver, Alex. Oh, you won. How about a session? On the house. You look like you could use some endorphins. Desk job pallor's a dead giveaway. I laughed it off, but he wasn't joking. By week's end, I was in his garage at 6 a.m., grunting through push-ups while he barked form corrections. It was torture at first. My arms like wet noodles, lungs burning. But damn if it didn't feel good. Alive. And Jake? He was a natural coach. Patient, intense, with that gravelly encouragement that made you push harder. One more, Rivera. Dig deep. That's where the fire lives. We'd rap with protein shakes on his porch, talking Dodgers games or the latest Marvel flick. The sun climbing high. It was easy, electric. Dangerous. A month in, the lines blurred. Late-night texts about quick fixes turned into lingering chats over takeout tacos. He'd brush past me in the narrow gym space, our hands grazing during spotter duty, sending sparks I pretended were static. I told myself it was bromance, two lonely guys in a sea of picket fences. But one humid evening, after a brutal circuit that left me sprawled on the mat, Jake dropped beside me, chest heaving. YIT, Alex? You got that quiet fire. Could be out there changing the world, not debugging routers. I wiped sweat from my brow, meeting his gaze. Those whiskey eyes held mine, unguarded. World's complicated. Code simple, fix the bug, move on. Relationships, they're all runtime errors. The words hung heavy, my breakup's ghost whispering in the silence. He nodded slow, like he got it bone deep. Yeah, my ex Sarah. She said I was too walled off. Like the Marine in me never clocked out. Guess that's why the divorce papers felt like a mercy kill. His voice cracked, just a hair, and in that vulnerability I saw him. Not the unbreakable trainer, but a man piecing himself back together. My hand moved on instinct, squeezing his knee. Friendly, supportive, but the touch lingered, warm and unspoken. That night, I lay awake in my bed, the fence between us feeling thinner than ever. Was this flirting with fire, or just two sparks too scared to ignite? Little did I know Jake's other plans were already in motion, training me not just for strength, but for the fall that would test if we could catch each other. The summer heat settled over Sacramento like a heavy blanket, turning our suburb into a haze of sprinklers and barbecues. Jake's gym became my sanctuary. Those early mornings a ritual that stitched us closer. We'd start with stretches, his hands guiding my form. Fingers splayed across my back, steadying a lunge, murmuring, "Breathe into it, Alex. Let it go." It was innocent on the surface, but every touch etched deeper, carving paths I hadn't mapped. I started noticing the little things. The way his laugh rumbled low when I nailed a pull-up, how he'd towel off post-shower, water tracing the V of his hips before he yanked on a shirt. God, I was gone. Hopelessly, stupidly smitten. One sticky July afternoon, after a client no-show left us with rare downtime, Jake fired up the grill in his backyard. "Steaks for the MVP," he declared, flipping fillets with tongs while I nursed a beer on the patio. The fence separated my yard from his, but we'd long since ignored it, hopping back and forth like it was a suggestion, not a boundary. As the sun dipped, painting the sky in bruised oranges, conversation turned personal. "Real. You ever think about getting back out there?" he asked, plating the meat. His tone was casual, but his eyes flicked to mine, probing. I shrugged, cutting into the juicy sear. "After Tyler? Nah. City's full of flakes. Here, at least the drama's low stakes. Unless your neighbor's turning you into a gym rat." I winked, testing waters that suddenly felt shark-infested. He chuckled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Flakes, huh? Yeah, I get that. Sarah wanted the white picket life, kids, the whole script. I couldn't sell it. Felt like lying." He paused, fork hovering. "Truth is, I've always been a little off-script myself. Drifted in ways folks don't expect." My pulse quickened. Off-script? In the Marine Corps, Jake had been the Golden Boy medals, promotions, the works. But rumors swirled in whispers at block parties. A wild phase in his 20s, Vague stories of bar fights and late nights in San Diego. I leaned in, voice soft. Off script how? You can tell me, man. No judgment here. He set his plate down, running a hand through his damp hair. The vulnerability from before was back, amplified. After basic, I hooked up with this guy. Once. Booze-fueled, stupid. But it stuck with me. Made me question the playbook. Then Sarah came along, and I shoved it down. Married her thinking it'd fix me. Didn't. His confession landed like a barbell drop. Heavy, echoing. I froze, stake forgotten, because this wasn't just sharing. It was a door cracking open. Jake, I breathed, reaching across the table. Our fingers intertwined, rough calluses meeting soft skin. That's not stupid. That's you. And it's brave as hell to say it out loud. He held my gaze, thumb tracing my knuckle. Brave? Or just tired of hiding? You've got this way, Alex, seeing through the bullshit. Makes me want to drop the weights and just be. The air thickened, charged like the moment before thunder. I wanted to pull him across that table, taste the salt on his lips, whisper that I'd been hiding too, hoping for a glitch like him to crash my system. Instead, we talked till stars pricked the sky. About my closeted high school years in a conservative Texas town, dodging crushes on the quarterback. His stolen glances in barracks showers, the guilt that followed. It was cathartic, a bridge over the chasm we'd both skirted. By midnight, as he walked me to my door, fence be damned. Our goodbye hug stretched eternal, bodies aligning in a way that screamed promise. His breath ghosted my ear. Thanks for listening. Feels good to train with someone who gets the reps. I barely slept, replaying it all. This was real, tentative, terrifying, but real. The next week blurred into a montage of stolen moments. A shared glance during deadlifts that lingered too long. His hand on my lower back for balance, that ignited trails of fire. We didn't label it, didn't push, but the pull was magnetic. Then came the conflict, subtle at first, like a frayed cable sparking warnings. Started with a phone call. I was mid-circuit, phone buzzing on the mat. Unknown number, but I answered, habit from freelance gigs. Alex Rivera? This is Mark Harlan, Jake's brother. Look, I need a favor. Jake's spiraling, won't talk to family since the divorce. Says he's got this trainer buddy, pulling him away from reality. You him. My stomach dropped. Brother? Jake had mentioned Mark once. A cop in LA, the golden child who had it all figured out. I stammered, yeah, that's me, neighbor, just helping with the gym stuff. Mark's voice sharpened, laced with that big bro protectiveness. Gym stuff? Listen, kid, he's fragile right now. Lost his way after the core marriage tanked. Don't drag him into your whatever this is. He's straight, always has been. One slip-up doesn't change that. The line went dead before I could retort, but the damage was done. Doubt crept in like malware, infecting every interaction. Was I the slip-up? The phase? That night, at our usual shake debrief, Jake sensed the shift. You okay? Look like you spotted a ghost mid-set. I forced a smile, hiding Mark's call. Just work stress. Deadlines. But the lie sat sour. We ended early, his hug brief, and I tossed all night, wondering if I'd misread the map entirely. The betrayal brewed slower than I expected. 2 weeks later, Jake canceled sessions. Client surge. He'd text, vague. I saw less of him. Lights off early, truck gone till late. Neighborhood grapevine buzzed. Jake spotted at a bar downtown with some blonde, laughing too loud. My heart twisted, but I shoved it down. Maybe Mark was right. Maybe I was the glitch. Desperate for clarity, I cornered him one dawn, toolbox as prop. Wi-Fi acting up again? I joked weakly, nodding at the garage. He looked wrecked, stubble shadowing his jaw, eyes bloodshot. Nah, it's fine. Listen, Alex. We gotta talk. His voice was gravel, reluctant. We sat on the porch steps, coffee steaming between us like a fragile truce. Mark called. He admitted, not meeting my eyes. Told me about reaching out to you. Said I was confused. That you were influencing me wrong. He's got ma worried now. Thinks I'm backsliding into old mistakes. Rage flared, hot and unbidden. Old mistakes? Jake, that brother of yours doesn't know shit. He's projecting his perfect life onto you, like you're some project to fix. He winced, rubbing his neck. It's not just him. The divorce hearing's coming up, custody bullshit, even though we never had kids. Sarah's lawyer's digging, painting me as unstable. If word gets out about, it'll tank everything. The gym, my rep. I can't lose it all, Alex. The word hung, a lifeline or a noose. So what then? We pump the brakes? Pretend this? I gestured wildly between us. Was just bro time. His hand found mine, squeezing hard. I don't want to. God, I don't. These weeks with you. It's the first time I've felt like me. Not the Marine, not the ex, not the trainer. Just Jake. But the world's not kind to guys like us out here. Not yet. Tears pricked my eyes. Unmanly, maybe, but fuck it. Then fight for it. With me. The plea escaped, raw and reckless. He pulled me into a hug, fierce and final. I need time to sort this, please. As he walked away, the fence loomed taller, a wall we'd have to scale or shatter. August scorched the valley, turning our quiet street into a furnace of unspoken tension. Jake's absence carved a hollow in my routine. No dawn alarms, no grunts echoing over the fence, just the hum of my laptop and the ghost of his touch. I threw myself into work, debugging code for faceless clients, but every ping of my phone sent my heart racing. Texts came sporadic. Busy day? Rain check? Or thinking of you? Hang tight. Cryptic lifelines that kept hope flickering, but doubt fanned the flames higher. Was he pulling away for good, or just catching his breath? The climax built like a storm front, dark clouds gathering on a Friday night. I'd spotted his truck earlier, parked crooked in the drive, and against better judgment, I baked cookies. Lame, I know, but therapy speak called it extending an olive branch. Nervous energy had me pacing my kitchen, the scent of chocolate masking my anxiety. When I knocked, the door swung wide to Jake, disheveled in sweats, a half-empty beer in hand. Alex? Shit. Come in. The living room was a war zone. Takeout boxes strewn, TV droning a baseball game no one watched. He collapsed on the couch, gesturing vaguely. Sorry about the mess. Rough week. I set the plate down, perching on the armrest. Talk to me. You've been a ghost. If this is about Mark, it's everything. He cut in, voice fracturing. Sarah's team subpoenaed my records, pulled up old psych evals from the core PTSD stuff I buried. Now they're spinning it like I'm a loose cannon. And Ma, she flew in today. Dropped the bomb. Dad's cancer's back. Stage 4. Wants me home for family time before. You know. The air sucked out, my chest tightening. Jake Harlan, unbreakable, unraveling thread by thread. I slid beside him, arm around his shoulders. Jesus, Jake. I'm so sorry. Why didn't you say? He leaned into me, head dropping to my shoulder. A dam breaking. Because saying it makes it real. And you're the one good thing. Didn't want to taint that. Sobs racked him, silent at first, then guttural, years of armored silence pouring out. I held him, whispering nonsense. You're not alone. I've got you. Rubbing circles on his back like he was one of my circuits, sparking back to life. Hours blurred. We talked till the beer warmed and the game ended in extra innings. He confessed the betrayal that stung deepest. Sarah, his ex, wasn't just gunning for alimony. She'd known about his phase, had used it as leverage in private talks, threatening to out him to the judge if he fought the settlement. She said it to protect the family image. He spat, bitter. But it was control. Pure control. Rage boiled in me, protective and fierce. That's not love, Jake. That's poison. You deserve better. Hell, we deserve better. Our faces inches apart, breaths mingling. The pull was inevitable. His lips met mine tentative, then hungry. A kiss born of desperation and dawn, tasting of salt and surrender. It wasn't fireworks. It was a hearth igniting, warm and consuming. Hands roamed, gentle, exploratory, mapping scars and stories without crossing lines. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed, the world narrowing to us. I want this, he murmured. You. But the timing. Screw timing. I replied, reckless. We'll face it together. That night, he slept on my couch. Platonically, a choice that felt sacred. Morning brought fragile peace. Coffee, quiet plans. He'd drive to LA for his dad. But we'd text, call, hold the line. Train while I'm gone, he teased, flexing mockingly. Don't let those gains slip. I laughed. But as his truck faded down the street, reality crashed back. Alone, I fielded a call from Mark, voicemail. Kurt, stay away from my brother. He's got enough on his plate without your complications. Deletion couldn't erase the venom. Betrayal layered on betrayal. Not just Sarah's, but family turning weapon. I paced, fists clenched, vowing to shield Jake from it all. The weeks stretched eternal. Updates trickled. Hospital vigils, chemo talks, Jake's voice strained but steady. Dad's fighting. Reminds me of you. Stubborn as hell. My replies buoyed me, but isolation gnawed. Neighbors noticed. Mrs. Ellis from across the street cornered me at the mailbox. Everything all right, dear? Jake's been off. You two were thick as thieves. I mumbled excuses, but gossip's a hydra. Heads turned, whispers followed. Then the storm broke. Package arrived unmarked, heavy. Inside, printouts, grainy photos. Jake and me in the gym, embraces frozen mid-motion. A note, typed anonymous. Keep your hands off Harlan. This town's got standards. My blood iced. Blackmail? From who, Mark? Sarah's camp? The invasion shattered me, trust fracturing like cheap glass. I burned them in the sink, flames licking warnings, but the damage lingered. How deep did the rot run? Desperate, I drove south unannounced. 3 hours of Highway 99 blurring past. Ellis sprawled chaotic, palm trees and smog. Contrast to our suburbs' calm. Jake's childhood home was a modest rancher in Echo Park, festooned with get-well balloons. I parked curbside, heart hammering, when the door flew open. Not Jake. Mark, badge gleaming on his belt, face thunderous. What the fuck are you doing here? He snarled, blocking the path. Jake invited me. I lied. Chin up. Family crisis. I'm family now. He laughed, cold. Family? You're a phase kid. A distraction from real life. Jake's always chased shiny distractions to dodge the hard stuff. Before I could retort, Jake appeared behind him, gaunt in hospital scrubs borrowed from his dad. Mark, enough. Alex is here for me. The brothers locked eyes, storm versus steel, tension crackling. Mark stormed off muttering, but the seed was sown. Division, deep and dividing. Inside, Jake pulled me to the kitchen, Ma Harlan fussing over pie in the corner. Silver-haired, sharp-eyed, sizing me up. You the neighbor? She asked, voice warm but wary. Yeah, here to help. Jake's hand found mine under the table, secret anchor. That night, bedside vigil for his dad. Wiry man with Jake's eyes, tubes snaking like enemies. Son, he rasped, spotting me. This the one keeping you smiling? Jake nodded, throat tight. Yeah, Dad, he is. Tears welled mine, his a moment of pure, aching humanity. But as we drove back north the next day, Jake's phone buzzed. Sarah's lawyer, demanding a meet. It's time to end this charade. The message read. The road ahead twisted, fraught with forks we couldn't ignore. September whispered in with cooler breezes, but the chill in our lives lingered like frost on the fence. Back in Sacramento, Jake threw himself into the gym, clients oblivious to the tempests raging beneath. We'd stolen evenings. Walks along the American River, hands brushing in the twilight, sharing dreams over diner fries. Someday, he'd say, a place by the coast, just us, no scripts. I'd nod, heart swelling, but the anonymous threats echoed. Notes slipping under doors, now emails. Ex-Marine gone rogue, towns watching. Paranoia took root. I changed locks, scanned shadows. The betrayal escalated mid-month, a gut punch from the inside. Jake's gym had a pop-up event, a charity lift for veterans, and I'd volunteered, manning the sign-up table. Buzzing crowd, weights clanging when Sarah appeared. Blonde, poised, designer jeans screaming, I won the war. She sidled up, Smile saccharine. Alex, right? Jake's helper. We need to chat. Cornered by the juice bar, her words sliced clean. He's using you to hurt me, payback for leaving. But deep down, he's mine. Always will be. Lies wrapped in silk, but they wormed in, echoing Mark's warnings, my own doubts. Prove it, I challenged, voice steady. Why out him now? Her laugh tinkled false. Protecting him from scandals, from guys like you who prey on vulnerability. She slipped away, leaving venom. That night, confronting Jake over porch beers, she came by, said, "You're playing me." His face crumpled, shock, then fury. Playing? Alex, I'd die before. But is it true? The threats her doing? Or yours to keep distance? Doubt spilled, toxic. He recoiled, beer shattering on concrete. You think I'd? After everything. Silence stretched, a chasm widening. Maybe we need space to breathe. The word space was a blade, twisting deep. Days blurred into avoidance. Nods over fences, no more shared shakes. I ran solo, pounding pavement till lungs screamed, but the ache persisted. Work suffered. A client fired me for distracted code. Isolation closed in, a cage of my making. Climax crested on a rain-lashed Saturday. Thunder rattled windows as I debugged alone, when pounding shook the door. Jake, soaked, eyes wild. It's Dad, he's gone. Slipped away this morning. He collapsed into me, rain mingling with tears, body racked. I held him on the threshold, world narrowing to grief's raw howl. We drove to LA through sheets of water, wipers slashing like accusations. Funeral was stark, military honors, flag folded crisp, Ma Harlan stoic beside Mark's glare. Eulogy by Jake. He taught me strength isn't armor. It's showing up, scars and all. His voice broke on scars. Eyes finding mine in the pews. A vow unspoken. Post-burial reception at the house. Relatives milling, casseroles congealing. Sarah cornered us in the den, bold, uninvited. Jake, honey, this isn't you. Come home. We can fix. Fix? He roared, volume shattering the hush. Guests froze. You blackmailed me, Sarah. Used my truth like a weapon. And you? He turned to Mark, venomous. My own brother, policing my heart like it's a crime scene. I'm gay, damn it. Have been since sand and sea. Alex isn't a phase, he's my future. Gasps rippled. Ma's hand flying to her mouth. Mark lunged. You're throwing it all away. But Jake stood firm, my hand in his anchor. No, I'm claiming it. For Dad, who loved quiet and true. For me, chaos erupted. Shouts, tears, Sarah fleeing in heels, clicking defeat. Ma pulled Jake aside, whispers fierce, then a nod. Acceptance dawning. Mark stormed out, door slamming finality. In the wreckage, Jake turned to me, spent. I almost lost you, because I was scared. You didn't? I whispered, kissing his temple. We're here. But the cost tallied high. Back home, Jim vandalized. Weights slashed, mirrors shattered. Freak scrawled in spray. Anonymous no more. Mark's prints on the can. Rage unchecked. Betrayal's full bloom. Family fractured. Town turning. Jake closed shop temporarily. We hunkered in my place, fortressing against stares. Yet in the quiet, humanity bloomed. Neighbors, unexpected allies, dropped meals, notes of support. Mrs. Ellis, love's love, boys. Don't let fools dim it. We rebuilt slow. Jake opening up in therapy, me coding an app for queer vets, his idea our bridge. Romance deepened. Not grand gestures, but mornings tangled in sheets. Coffee shared silences. Runs where hands linked unashamed. One crisp October eve, porch swing sway. Other plans worked, he murmured, head on my shoulder. Trained me to love without armor. I smiled, heart full. And me? To trust the glitch. Winter crept in gentle, Sacramento's fog weaving halos around street lamps, softening the scars we'd earned. The gym reopened to a modest crowd, loyal clients who'd stuck through whispers, new faces drawn by Jake's quiet courage. He trained with renewed fire, Not the armored intensity of before, but a fluid grace, like he'd shed pounds of invisible weight. I join when schedules aligned, our routines intertwined. His spot on my bench press, my debug of the smart setup post-sweat. Touches lingered now, open, unapologetic. A thumb trace on jawlines, a stolen kiss behind the pull-up bar. It was our normal, hard-won and holy. But healing's not linear. Ghosts lingered. Mark's silence stretched months. Radio static where brotherhood once hummed. Holiday cards arrived and signed. Ma's script shaky. Proud of you both. Come visit spring. Sarah faded into legalese. Settlement signed with a gag clause that bought peace if not forgiveness. The vandalism? Charges pressed. Community service for Mark. A cop humbled. Forced to counsel queer youth. Irony bit, but Jake extended olive. He's family. Flawed as us. A call, tentative truce, began mending threads. My world shifted too. The vet app launched. Simple thing, connecting isolated souls with resources, stories. Jake's input made it sing. Forums for off-script vets. His byline anonymous but proud. Reviews poured in, one gutting. Reminds me it's okay to love who I am. Not a phase, a feature. Tears pricked reading it aloud to him, our couch a confessional. Deeper emotions surfaced in layers peeled slow. One snow-dusted night. Rare for the valley. We bundled on the porch, hot cocoa steaming. Ever think about forever? He asked, voice low, vulnerable as fresh snow. I set my mug down, heart thumping. Every damn day. You? He nodded, pulling a small box from his pocket. Not ring, but keys. To the house. Mine's too full of ghosts. Yours. It's home. Simple, profound. We merged lives seamless. His weights in my garage. My code clutter on his desk. Mornings blurred. His coffee strong, mine lattes. Evenings, tangled reeds of Kerouac or Baldwin. Voices weaving tales of open roads and hidden loves. Conflict lingered in echoes, though. A client outed himself mid-session, crediting Jake's vibe shift. Town buzzed. Picket signs at City Hall for equality bills, sparked by our story's ripple. Protests turned personal. Slurs spray-painted on our drive, forcing another layer of locks. Lights. Jake wavered once. Maybe the coast sooner. But I pulled him close. This is our fight. Human, messy. Worth it. Romance flowered in the mundane. Drives to Yosemite. Hands linked over gear shifts. Awe at granite faces mirroring our resolve. A weekend there, cabin tucked in pines, sealed it. Hiking mist trail, mist-kissing skin, we paused at Vernal Falls roar. Marry me? He yelled over thunder. Ring glinting. Simple band. Engraved. No more hiding. Tears mixed with spray. Yes. Hell yes. Not on knees in rain, but real. Slippery embrace. Laughter bubbling. Back home. Wedding small. Ma officiating, ordained online. Eyes twinkling. Mrs. Ellis baking cake. A dozen allies toasting under string lights. Vows raw mine. You fixed more than Wi-Fi. You rebooted my heart. His trained me to love fierce, flaws and all. No fairy tale gloss. Life post-vows tested. Jake's gym expanded, queer-friendly nights, drawing souls from shadows. My app scaled, funding therapy scholarships. Mark attended the wedding, suit stiff, hug awkward but there. Sorry, bro took too long. Forgiveness earned slow like reps building muscle. Years folded. A rescue dog named Router, his joke. Adoptions talked in whispers. Betrayals faded scars. Not wounds. Reminders of resilience. On our 5th anniversary, Jim's sunset session. He spotted my lifts, whispering, "Still got those plans for you." I grinned, racking the bar. Best training ever. In the end, it wasn't triumph or tragedy. Just us, human and whole. In America's heartland sprawl, where fences divide but love leaps them, we built something enduring. Not perfect, but profoundly ours. A story whispered in dawn sweats, coded in quiet touches, lived loud in the light we'd claimed. And as the sun dipped, painting our shared yard gold, I knew. The glitch wasn't a bug. It was the feature that made us fly.